I'm Graham Duncan. I'm Chief Executive of Right to Succeed. We're a charity that focuses on place-based change in communities in the bottom 10% of the indices of multiple deprivation. We are going to run through quite an agenda today with you, bringing together a fantastic cast of people involved in the North Birkenhead work to this point.
So we are a team, there's 17 of us, and whilst there is 17, we've established links with other agencies who are not within the core team. So, and how we've worked is, rather than as social care would work, for those who know how they work, it's very much, you know, a contact comes in, social care do an assessment, you then think of who needs to be involved, who do you refer to. So it takes a few weeks for that to happen, and then a few weeks for the person who you've referred to pick it up. That's stopped. What we do is we meet twice a week as a team. We look at the referrals or contacts that have come in, and we look at that family and think, what is it that's actually the need here? As part of the team as well, I think was important was building a relationship up with that community. What we know, and what I've known from my previous role, is that some families in North Birkenhead are very much resistant of social workers, of anyone who's seen as a professional. It was us to break them barriers down, and I'd say we've done that. And an example of that is we've had children on who have come, we've inherited on child protection plans. And when we've got to a point where it's so positive, they do not need that high level of intervention, we've had families saying, you know, we want to stay open to you. And it's trying to say to them, we're still here, but your child does not need to have that high level of intervention. So we have a very much open door policy. So we're based within the heart of North Birkenhead. Families come in and out all the time. They can come to the office. And we've established where, like someone said, that families know most of us in that team. So even if their key worker's not available, they can talk to someone else because they'll know them. So we're very much a team approach to some of these families. And that's worked really well.
My name's Nicole Bailey and I'm a social worker in the Cradle-to-Career team, and I've worked in Wirral for around 8 years. And when the project was sent out to express an expression of interest, straight away it sparked an interest in me. I think the ethos of the programme is fantastic. I think as a team we've definitely been able to roll with that and place our own values as part of that community to go forward. And just to mirror what Anne just said, we have broke down them barriers, and it's a strange feeling as a social worker. Families are asking to stay involved or can we come and knock, and that's where the community connectors, school readiness workers, family workers play a part of that MDT. I think we're seeing movement with families, there's less drift. If families are escalating or stepping down, we've got the knowledge in the team already of that family. The referral process is definitely cut, so we've got the community connectors where we can speak to them and that referral's done quicker. So as you know, as social workers, family workers, referrals can build up. It's very time consuming. So we've cut a lot of time out, which means more time with families.
My name's Christine. I'm a family support worker. I've been employed by the local authority for 20 years. I am absolutely loving being part of this team. It helps me do my job much better. Quick example, I had a family who required support around drugs, alcohol, isolation, mental health, speech and language, domestic violence, and they had no food. It took me 10 minutes to walk around the office because all the services are in one room, and there you go, they had a package of support like that. In the past, this could have took me weeks and weeks, months even, and then you risk losing the motivation of the family in the process. I'm also noting a really good difference in step down cases. So historically, we know families in Birkenhead North don't engage in preventative support. So under this model, family support workers are working alongside social workers. We complete specific pieces of work. So when they step down to level 3, they know us, we've broken down the barriers, the relationships there, and we take them down then to level 3 support, and they carry on their journey along that way. So that's working really well.
A thing that works really well within our team is all that, you know, we all work together. There's other people on the team that have worked with this family as well. And we are just like one big happy family. The fact that we can get in there with the social workers and work together has been such a huge benefit, because we find that from historically really, it's very difficult when a family will step down because they don't want services involved. They want it to end. But with us, because they know us through that process, going through child protection, it works so well that we're still there to support them when things have stepped down.
So the way they can respond to a whole range of needs quickly in a coordinated way, with the same kind of approach and culture, has really paid great results for families.
I think a huge factor of the family connector role is the listening ear. And in the discovery phase of Cradle-to-Career, local residents said that they wanted friendship, trust, somebody to talk to, somebody just to listen to them, and that's very much what Di and I do. You know, we've got some families. I support somebody who will just text me and say, "Are you free for a chat?"
My experience in the team has been fantastic. It's definitely the right area to trial the project, and I do hope it's able to roll out across other areas. The relationship being with families is that you've got a lot more time to spend with the mums, dads, carers, the children, and your relationship with schools vastly improved as well. You've got a much rounder picture of the families, and for me, similar to Ange, school readiness, community connectors are not really services I probably would have worked with previously, but now I definitely couldn't work without them.
One thing to note here is the team are all based out of a community centre, the St James Centre, which is very fortunately physically based right at the centre of the community. They made a very brave decision to take in the multidisciplinary team at the very beginning. They have an early years centre. They do a lot for families that are facing kind of very great challenges. But what I really loved was their team and their trustees decided that what they wanted to do by taking in this team was transform the relationship between the community and the public sector services, particularly social workers. And I think what Nicole has already kind of set out there gives you a sense of actually how much that relationship is starting to change in North Birkenhead very, very quickly.
And there's a real can-do ethos. I think, as Chris said earlier, things just happen quickly for families because we work together to make those changes for families.
Within the 12 months, the first 12 months, we only had to take 3 families to the child protection level. We've been managed to keep them, others, we keep them in child in need, we keep them in family matters, so we haven't had to escalate. And I think my view of that is because we've got the right support in at the right time and the right agencies. In order to establish them relationships, we've had to let these families see us in a different light. So yeah, we are social work trained, some of us, but we're still human.
One thing that I would say is that I learn something new every day, whether it be something that's happening in the community, a new section with one of the social workers, or just something that's happening, and it's really, really good. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to find out everything that's going on.
One of the things that I thought was a real big indicator was when I met with the team a couple of weeks ago and we were kind of reflecting on what's worked, what we've learned, etc. There was this real sense of they will not go back to working the way they used to. What they're getting out of this in terms of support, job satisfaction, enjoying being part of this team, seeing the difference they're making, they're really committed to this is how they want to work in future. And the event that Angela was speaking at, which I mentioned before, was really about the passion that Angela brought to that, to talk to the rest of the social care workforce about this model, how it's working, what their experience is. We've now got the rest of the social care workforce really engaged and thinking about how we could increase this. So at the moment, we're looking at our other 5 priority wards within the borough and how we may replicate this model and hope for the same sort of impacts. Right to Succeed threw us a lifeline, because I think the role that Right to Succeed had as kind of almost an independent party that brought different people together into the space to have the conversation was really important. It's something that I don't think we would have been able to achieve from a local authority lead perspective, just because of, you know, history, years of different engagements, different motivations about, and sometimes some competition about getting funding, etc., things like that. So I think what Right to Succeed brought to it would have to, that kind of role would have to exist in order to replicate it in other places.